They came out of the secret passage to the sound of Jessie and her brother arguing. She looked at Mr. Seraph, but the demon still looked a little rattled. When they had descended into the under-prison, he had stopped in the passage above and shuddered all over. Winter couldn't blame him. The smell down here was awful, but it was more than that. The feel of the place was off. It was like a wine cellar where the bottles have turned, a fridge of spoiled food, a compost pile that hides a body. I store my spoils away too, but this, he said with a full body shake, is something different. Dr. Winters had wanted to stop to help them, but time was of the essence. They had to get to the prison before their friends got swarmed. Sending in the others first had been a stroke of genius, but if they arrived to find that they had all been killed, then it would be for nothing. Dr. Winters decided that she would speak with her brother about the inmates down here later. There was work to do right now. They had begun sneaking through the small group outside the barrier when the woman suddenly grabbed her brother and tossed him into the dome of crackling energy. Winter could hear him screaming, see the crackle as his body surged against the gathered power, and knew they didn't have much time. He's going to die in there if we don't hurry, and as his soul heads back to hell where it belongs, those things are going to kill us. Jessie was distracted, her assumed victory already at hand, and as the two moved through the gates and into the yard surrounding the death house, they struck. Jessie may have been the queen bitch that ran all the ghosts, but her flesh was just as regular as everyone else's. She turned just in time to see both of them as they charged at her, and when they hit the barrier she created, both demons bounced off in surprise. "You're too late," Jessie said triumphantly. "He'll either bring down the barrier, or I'll cook him to a crisp." "You're mad," Winter said, cutting down one of the ghosts as it came charging in. "Maybe, but the choice is his. He can suffer for as long as he likes, but the result will be the same. He'll bring the barrier down whether he wants to or not, and there's nothing that can be done about it." Dr. Winters pondered the barrier for a moment, trying to find a way through. She could see her allies starting to falter on the yard, and she didn't think they had a lot left. The army of ghosts seemed endless, but the group was making its way closer to the fence that separated the land of the living and the land of the dead. One of them was talking to the knight, a normal-looking kid whom she hadn't thought much of. He was pointing at Jessie and then to himself, and she wasn't quite sure what he intended to do. The knight nodded, turning and slicing the fence so he could clamber through it, and then he turned and charged as a pair of ghosts bore down on the old man, his arms extended as he tried to hold the barrier in place. The kid was running towards them, her brother slashing his fist against the sphere in vain, and when the kid passed through it as easily as a finger through a soap bubble, both of them just looked on in astonishment. Jessie seemed just as shaken as he was. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she asked, taking a step back. "That barrier should be thick enough to hold most anything at bay." The kid was walking towards her slowly, holding up his hands to show that he didn't have any weapons. "I'm guessing it wasn't made to keep out regular old humans. I came to talk. I want to de-escalate things before it gets out of hand." Jessie laughed, shaking her head. "Things have been out of hand for a long time. I don't think there's any bringing them back now." The kid was close now, about 15 feet away, and Winters wondered what the game plan was. It's never too late to bring it back from the verge. It's what I've learned from working with the spirits. There's a chance we can make this right. Just pull it back before... "Before what?" Before I kill him the way he killed me? Before I give my heart to some undeserving demon and then watch him take everything from me? No. This place has to burn. And if the whole town has to burn with it, then so be it. 10 feet. 8 feet. The kid was practically on top of her. If you lower that barrier, though, it'll be the death of the town. And many of those people never harmed you. They certainly never helped me either. Why should I care what happens to them? They mean nothing to me. He took another step, then another, and Winter gritted her teeth, expecting the witch to realize his plan. Is that all there is to it? Is there no way to reconcile? None, she said, her eyes growing wide as she seemed to realize how close he had gotten. Then I'm sorry, he said, lunging forward and shoving her. He shoved her into the crackling barrier, and her screams joined the warden's as her face filled with fear. The warden was a demon, and as such, the barrier would take a long time to finish him off. Jessie, however, had no such protection. The reason the dorm was off limits was that touching the barrier would result in a person being burned up fairly quickly. Jessie was reduced to ashes in seconds, nothing more than gray particles, and as the totems fell to the ground, something happened out on the yard. The spirits stopped mid-fight, like toy soldiers who needed to be cranked again. The hellhounds kept going, but without their ghostly entourage, they weren't quite as intimidating as they had been. The group pulled in close, defending the hole they had made in the death house gate, but they needn't have bothered. The spirits slowly sank into the ground, free of whatever hold Jessie had over them, and they were finally able to get back to whatever awaited them on the other side. The hellhounds, sensing something had gone amiss, tried to head back into the woods, but as the warden came free of the barrier, he summoned up the last of his energy and called out to the dormant beasts that lay beneath the ground between the woods and the prison. The hellhounds were in for a surprise as they tried to flee, and as the mouths of teeth came up to swallow them, they yelped and thrashed as they were pulled beneath the ground. Some of them made it, but with nowhere to go and no one to lead them, it would be back to business as usual. Without Reese, they would likely have to fall back under the heel of the warden. But not today. Today was a day for rest. Rebuilding would come later. The warden sagged between his siblings as they pulled him out, looking up weakly as he grinned at them. Took you long enough, he husked. Dr. Winters laughed. Sorry. Next time, we'll just let them have you and your prison. His laugh sounded sick, but at least he could still laugh. Thank you. I'd probably be dead if you hadn't shown up. All of you, he said, and he nodded to the kid who had made it through the barrier. John shrugged. Sometimes, when you can't reason with them, the only thing you can do is turn their power back on them. Well spoken, the warden said, and he let his siblings carry him away from the death house. They helped him back to the tower, and that's when Mr. Seraph noticed something coming through the gate. Looks like we might not be out of the woods just yet. There was a crowd coming up the same road the others had entered through, and they were pretty big. There were about 50 of them, dark shapes coming towards the tower, and one look around showed the doctor that her group was almost out of gas. Sam and John were still relatively fresh, one having done very little fighting and one having the might of a fey court behind them. Glimmer was breathing heavily, Maggie too, but they looked ready to fight a little more. The wizards, however, were out of gas. The old man was coughing, his breathing short and wet, and Marcus looked ready to fall over. They had both thrown around a lot of power, and they would need time to recover. Dr. Winter knew that she and her brother would have to take the lead on this one, and she hoped they had enough power left to get the job done.
Good evening, everyone. It's me, Dr. Plague. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you think you might like a little more spooky in your life, then please feel free to click on one of the videos we have up here. Maybe look at one of the playlists if you're trying to get caught up. I know, there's so many videos on the channel, so many series that are going at the same time. Sometimes you just need a little refresher course, and I gotta say, I always enjoy the views. If you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We upload a lot on this channel, so you won't want to miss a single story as they come out. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon link down there. There's quite a few books in my Amazon account. You can have a look, and if you'd like a signed copy, get up with me through email, and I'll be happy to work something out with you. Also, there's links to my Patreon, and you can become a member on the channel if you'd like your spooky a little bit early. Patrons and members on the $5 tier get their videos 12 hours early. That's in the morning as opposed to in the evening. Patrons at the $10 level also get a signed copy of my book anytime I write one. Speaking of my patrons, you should see them appearing right now. Just wanted to take a minute to say how much I appreciate all of you. Patrons, subscribers, however you give to the channel. I really appreciate everything you do, and it truly touches me that you have chosen to support the channel in this way. Well, that's enough for now. Till next time, Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.